Kind of go through this to explain how to do a circle and the rectangle and a square. So I want to change this so circles are dynamic as far as what size and position they have. So in the lab I talked about making a private member variable, which is an SF circle shape, and inside I'm going to make a constructor that takes 3 arguments, which is a radius, an X position, and a Y position. There's a few things that's kind of neat. You can take this guy, you can just copy this whole thing, and you can just paste him up here to make the constructor, and all you have to do is put circle, colon, colon in front of it. So that's kind of the easiest way for me to do that, instead of just doing one at a time, because you're going to implement the constructor this way. And this circle has a variable called mShape. Right? I think I called it mCircle shape. Maybe it was like mCircle.
Yeah, it is mCircle.
mCircle? Okay, so I'll call it mCircle. So mCircle has a few functions on it. One of them is set radius. The other one is set position, to set the position. And you're just going to pass in the 2 arguments that are passed into the constructor. Okay? And then here on draw, that's literally all you do. So I made a constructor and I put a variable here. And then in the engine here, now it's actually asking me to specify a radius. You can see here the little drop-down box tells me where I need to put it, or what variables go where. And there's my circle. I'm going to run this. And you should see something that looks like this. And if I wanted to, I could change the radius to be 150 here. And now I can have a bigger circle. And the key is that now that I have a bigger circle, I can actually make an array of 3 of these. I can say shape at 0 equals a new one, and I can make a couple more of these circles. So I'm just copying the whole lines, and I'm going to change some of these here, like so. And then instead of writing a single draw call, you're just going to write a loop. And you're going to loop over 3 times because that's how many elements I have in my array. And instead of drawing shape, you're going to draw shape at I to draw every element in that array inside your loop. And now you can have 3 different circles of different shapes and sizes and in different positions. Using the same concept here, because all circles are types of shapes, I can actually fill in other things inside this array. I can fill in squares and rectangles too. So we can make a class for a square. Yeah, you can copy paste. Notice this is most of it's me copy pasting, and this is because I've done this so many times that this is a lot easier for me. And instead of this is going to be called a square, and this is going to be a size here. And again, because this is a different class, we can just take this whole thing. I'm going to copy all the circle constructor and the square the draw call. I'm just going to rename this to be square and square. I'm just going through here and renaming things that make sense. And instead of an M circle, there should be an M, well, I called it rectangle. This should be M square. So I make a member variable that's a square here, and I can just use that here. And this is just going to be a set size. And when setting the size, it actually takes 1 argument, which is a vector, 2f. And if you go to the lab at the top of the file here, I give you guys a link to the web page in which you can remember how to set the size of a rectangle. So right here, this is how you set the size of a rectangle. You pass in a 2f object with a width and a height. So here I can create a vector 2f, and it takes an x and a y, which can be size and size, because squares are the same width and height too. The set position call remains the same, and the draw call remains the same with the exception of me calling that member variable here. And then inside here, all I have to do is change one of these to be a square. I'm going to make a square of maybe 200. And so now one of my objects is going to be a square, while my other 2 will be circles. And there you guys can see the square right there. Okay. I could use the same exact stuff to make a rectangle too. So I'm going to copy the whole class, change this one from a square to be a rectangle, change the name of the constructor, change this to be rectangle. A rectangle takes, however, 2 arguments for the size. One is the width, one is the height. But again, I can go in here, I can copy this, and I can replace this with rectangle and double click. I'm like double clicking and pasting things where it makes sense to replace. It's a lot faster that way. And I can replace this guy here and this guy here. And instead of size, it's going to be width. And I know there's a height as well inside those 2 arguments. So I can pass that in here and here. And now I have my 3 classes, and I can make one of these guys a rectangle now. So he takes, I'm going to make him 1,004 pixels tall, and he's going to be at 0, 500. So without me changing the loop or changing the array at all, I can literally just fill in different things in that array, and it is with my rectangle at the top, which is super skinny. Okay. All right. So let me put this up on Zool so you guys can grab it and look at it.